Kirsten, welcome to my book nook. Today I've got a tag for you, the Last 10 tag by Mark Nash. I'll leave the original video link down below and I'll get right into it. This is 10 questions, 10 books, probably about that many books. Okay, the last book I didn't finish, The Benefits of Passion by Catherine Fox. It's set in Cambridge, as you can tell, sort of not. It's been on my Goodreads to read list for years. Finally got around to getting it from the library. It's about an ordinand who's writing a book about an ordinand, and I wanted to love it, but there was something about the writing style I just couldn't get into, and I just thought life's too short. I'm sure it's for somebody, it's not for me. Last reread, What Katie Did Next. This is a book about a grand tour. It's the third of 3 books of a series that are normally published. Actually, I think it's the 4th in the series in total, but the ones that are still in print is the 3rd. It's about this girl Katie. In the first book she has a bad accident and ends up unable to walk for ages. There's a brilliant retelling by Jacqueline Wilson, which I would highly recommend. And the original's okay, it's just very dated, whereas Jacqueline Wilson's retelling is beautiful. But in the 3rd book she goes with a friend to Europe and she falls in love and it's all very nice, and when I read it, the description of Nice at Christmas, I absolutely fell in love with it. And so did my girlfriend, and her birthday is during the Christmas period, so we're going at Christmas. So I wanted to reread the books, and that's why I reread that one. Question number 3, the last book I bought was Pride by Ibi Zoboi. This, I'm sorry if I'm not pronouncing the name correctly, do please correct me if I'm not. It's Pride and Prejudice set in Brooklyn with African American characters. I frankly didn't need to know any more than that. It sounded amazing. Look at this artwork, aren't they beautiful? And blue underneath with the gold spine. It's just so lovely. And I'm very excited to read this, which I will probably read next, although you'll find out at the end of the month, I guess. Question number 4, said I read but didn't. I don't do that, not even when I was at school. I didn't see the point. I'd read the school books instead, even the ones I really hated. So I don't see the point. When I was younger, I read, in my late years of secondary school, I went through a phase of reading all classics, and people would mock me for reading things that were too highbrow. And then I went to 6th form and I went into a horror phase, and people would mock me for being too lowbrow. And the juxtaposition of the two things, I was just like, why can't you just leave me alone to read what I like? And so I've tried to always do that for other people as well, and as a result I never say, oh yeah, I've totally read that, when I haven't, unless it's a mistake. I just don't see the point. I just don't, sorry. Last book I wrote in the margins, and this is going to be school books because I don't tend to write in the margins of books. I know some of you do, it's a personal preference. I personally prefer not to. So that would have been A Bit of Singing and Dancing by Susan Hill and Rosencrantz and Guildenstern Are Dead by Tom Stoppard. That is a brilliant play. Stoppard himself said that if Hamlet is a Gothic cathedral of a play, Rosencrantz and Guildenstern Are Dead, graffiti written on the walls. But it's absolutely brilliant. It's what happens with the characters in Hamlet when Hamlet is off stage. I can't recommend it enough. It's really funny. It fills in some gaps of Hamlet, and if you know Hamlet at all, then watch it. If you don't, watch Hamlet first, and then Rosencrantz and Guildenstern Are Dead is brilliant. Bit of Singing and Dancing by Susan Hill. They were short stories. They felt like, to me, like they just didn't go anywhere. There was no overarching theme. They were just pointless, and I have no idea where they tried to make us pick them apart. There was no substance to them, to my mind. Now, other people might say differently, and that's fine. If you like that book, that's great, and maybe I would have done if I'd read them later without having to stop and think about them. I love her detective series. It's not Hill herself, it's not her writing. It's something about this book which just felt like it felt like like she wasn't writing at full capacity. Like it wasn't her best work, and I think it was a bit disappointing, but there you go. Last book I had signed. I've never walked up to an author and said, please can you sign this book? And so I went to see Tom Holt speak, and I still didn't have him sign a book for me. So the closest I've got is a bookplate, and that would be The Light Between Worlds, which is two sisters, Evie and Philippa, go to a magical realm and then come back and have to readjust to the real world. I'm really excited about this. I think it could be really interesting. I'm getting Lucy and Susan vibes from the two sisters, and I think Susan gets, well, I mean, lots of people think Susan gets a poor rap in the books, in the Narnia books, but I'm hoping that the Susan figure in this book gets a bit more of a fair deal. I'm hoping that's how it goes, but we'll see. The last book I lost was on a train in Germany, and it was Fantastic Beasts, and there was something else in the back and I can't think what it was. But Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them by Newt Scamander, I mean J.K. Rowling, and I had a first edition. It was lovely. It had a brilliant forward, and I absolutely loved it. And when I question 8 replaced Fantastic Beasts and How to Find Them, it was not the first edition, and it had, the forward wasn't in it. So I mean, I still read the book, and we've got it on audiobook now as well, because my littlest likes to listen to Harry Potter themed audiobooks when we go to sleep. So I've got it, but yeah, I left it on a train in Germany in my beautiful book sleeve as well, so I don't have a book sleeve anymore. Number 9, last book I had an argument over. As I said earlier, I really try not to be judgy about people's reading choices. That said, I did once have a bit of a rant about Cross Stitch by Diana Gabaldon, which is the first, I think it's called something different in America, it's the first of the Outlander series, and I just found it so frustrating. I finished it because I did it for an online book group, and to be honest, that online book group kind of folded because we all had very different tastes, but I was just so frustrated with reading the whole thing, and I had this rant, and then my cousin just said, I really love that book, that whole series is my favourite series. So I felt like about this tall and I haven't done that again, but that wasn't an argument as such, it was just me feeling like I should have just kept my mouth shut. I don't know. Number 10, couldn't get a hold of, Keep Calm and Kill the Chef by Olivia Day. This is the 3rd book in the Café La Femme book series. It's about a cafe owner's daughter of a cop who turns private detective herself. The first book was brilliant. The second book was kind of meh. But I was hoping the 3rd book would be better, and when my partner went to Australia, I said, oh, can you pop into a bookshop and get me a copy of this book? And he tried, bless him. It did not work. So I still don't have a copy of that book, and apparently there's a 4th book in the series as well now, so I'm not even sure I'd like it if I got hold of it, but I haven't managed to get a hold of it, and that's the most recent book I haven't managed to get a hold of. I'm not tagging people because I've forgotten who I've tagged and who I haven't tagged, but if you like the look of this tag, if you fancy doing it, link down below when you posted it, please, 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 please. And if you've got a copy of Keep Calm and Kill the Chef that you're not using, I'd love it. Or if you know where to get one, yeah, that, do let me know. And let me know what you thought, and just let me know what you thought about any of those books, if you're excited them, if you love Cross Stitch or a bit of singing and dancing, and I will see you next week. Bye.